back at it, man. On the Go podcast, the Sports Authority. We're back. We're not gonna answer any questions. Just know we back. Okay.
You know, hey, it's like I always say, we back like your shoulders, big dog.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
So we got almost the whole crew in the house. We got our boy Chris, Tyler, and then we got Debo and M16 hanging out with us to talk a little sports.
Infiltrate, nigga. That's what I'm doing. Infiltrate.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Hey, we'll use that. We'll make it work.
And we can't forget about our pod brother Jimbo, currently on break. He taking care of some responsibilities.
He's on
Shout
a
out,
hiatus.
bro,
I
Jimbo.
would call it a sabbatical, but he ain't holy like that. He knows what I mean.
My boy handling his candle right now.
Yeah,
He doing dark skin things. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. Dark skin things.
You know what? We'll leave it at that. So we'll pop up the starting lineup here, and we'll get into the Week 5 preview of the NFL. We got some good games on tap. We don't have to go through all of them. But did anybody want to touch on last night's game between the Bears and the Commanders?
Bro, did DJ Moore get that drug screen today?
He definitely probably got drug screen.
Because
DJ Moore is him.
What got
Ron
him
Rivera, I'm shocked he didn't get fired, which we'll talk about that later on. But doesn't sound like anybody really cares about that game. So we'll go.
I care if Justin Fields make his way to Atlanta. I care. Is that Justin Fields they trying to trade for? Because if that's the case, nigga, come on home, brother. Come on
Y'all
home.
definitely need him in Atlanta.
Because I need a fucking quarterback.
Y'all should have just drafted him. He's from Marietta.
Bro, don't say it. Don't say it because I said that shit during that draft. We chose a tight end that we don't use, but let's say that for my.
Okay. So, getting into some of these matchups this weekend, we got a really good one here. We got Buffalo and the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is in London. At this point, I'm assuming the Jaguars are just gonna move there. Like second straight home game there. I mean.
Well, technically, they're the away team this time. Technically,
is there a home team really?
So yeah. So basically, when they play in Wembley, right? Yes, it counts as a home game for them. So for them, they have a contract with England. Like the Jaguars themselves, their owner has a contract with them to play over there like every year. So like he's trying to build a fan base for Jaguars fans over there. So they play over. That's why they play over there so much. But last week, technically, they were the home team because they played in Wembley. And then when they play outside of Wembley, they're the away team. So I know it's weird because you really are away, but technically, it's an away game for them.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna have the London Jaguars here in about 5 years, but okay.
Yeah,
Big
probably
big
so.
The reason why I brought it up is because I know that they're trying to build a new stadium right now, and that's not going well. So,
wait, didn't they just build a stadium, or they renovated it?
No, that stadium they have there has been there since they opened in what 96 or when did they expand, Raph?
96.
Yeah, it's the same stadium. They done went through a bunch of name changes. You know how stadiums do.
Yeah.
They're now owned by TIA Bank. I know this because I used to work for TIA.
Oh, well, there you go. So Buffalo is a 6-point favorite, which I get because the Jaguars have not played well this year. Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked good. But this might be a game that the Jaguars fuck around and win. Because like we talked about on this show before, like Josh Allen can be turnover prone. But he has been pretty good here of late. And if Stephon Diggs...
Of late is what? One game? Is of late one game?
Last week he played really well.
Last week, one game, right? So I done said it enough. I done did it enough. Do I need to say it again? Because fuck Josh Allen. Like, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Like, he had one good game, and now niggas is like, oh, he the best in the world. Like, no, he not. He wasn't. He was the same trash that he was at the beginning of the year. This nigga he's good, but he ain't great. You see what I'm saying? And niggas keep saying that he great and he ain't great. Although, I just want to say this. Quarterback play in the NFL has been ass all year. Niggas have been up and down. I just want to say that. Not including my nigga. My nigga's just been trashed all the way through. But, like, even when Patrick Mahomes been having off games, you know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts been having off games. It's just kind of weird how every quarterback
Joe Burrow hasn't looked good.
Joe Burrow for sure.
He hurt, right? Ain't he hurt?
Yeah, he's hurt. But like, speaking of the slate, right? The Bengals play the Cardinals this weekend. They're both 1-3. You could argue they have the same record, but the Cardinals have looked better,
way better,
more competitive.
Way better. And they gave us a run for our money last weekend.
Right. And then on top of that, since he's only a 3-point favorite, so Vegas is even telling you, I don't know what's going on here. So, like, if you're Joe Burrow and the Bengals, you have to win this game, right, Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like
you have to win this game to salvage your season, because it's a big difference being 2-3 than 1-4. Like 1-4, and I don't know if they have a bye week the week after, but I know 1-4 to start the season is typically we not winning, we tanking. But what you tanking for? You got the quarterback. You done paid him $1 billion. You got 2 dope ass receivers. You're not gonna be able to keep both of them, right? So T. Higgins, Atlanta Falcon next year. I'm calling it now. Definitely could be.
So nobody can throw to him. You got Drake London there right now. Poor guy.
Listen. We got Drake. We need all the weapons to sit on the bench and look nice. We need weapons to sit in the parking lot. A Ferrari in the parking lot of an apartment building, nigga. That's what we got.
That's what you're doing with Kyle Pitts and Drake London right now.
Literally. So, listen, we'll talk about that when we get to the Falcons and Arthur Smith. But I definitely think that if you go 1-4, there's nothing else that the Bengals could say, well, we done with the season. I don't know how you come back and win that division starting off 1-4.
Right.
It's a must win for them.
I mean, speaking, go ahead, Tyler.
If they do lose, they'll have to get on the road and win 5, 6, 7 in a row to salvage the season. But that's easier said than done.
Yeah, because you look, the Browns are on bye this week, but the Ravens played the Steelers this week. The Ravens are 3-1. The Steelers are 2-2. Both of them, they've looked okay. Steelers really haven't looked that great. Kenny Pickett's hurt. Is he their quarterback? Is he not? Defense hasn't played well.
I'm shocked at something. Like, you were looking at the slate of games, and I in my head, obviously, I thought the game that was going to jump out at you that you was going to start talking about at first was the 49ers and the Cowboys. And
we're not mainstream media, so we were going to talk about them, but I figured that one was going to take the longest to talk about, so I was trying to just kind of go through some of these. But since you brought it up, 16, obviously, speaking of national media, everybody's been talking about the Cowboys. Everybody's talking about, Dak, revenge game. He needs this game, and nobody's talking about San Francisco. San Francisco's really good. Like, they're 4-0.
And Brock Purdy has looked really good, more importantly.
Brock Purdy's look good. Christian McCaffrey looks otherworldly.
MVP worthy.
The 49ers
don't let Shannon and Drake hear that.
The 49ers just traded for Randy Gregory today like they needed him.
Just extra pieces, just for no reason.
Like, 16, I'll let you give your thoughts, but I feel like the Niners are about to drag them. Personally.
Y'all remember the ESPN graded our trade for CMC a C?
Stupid.
Yeah. A C. It was like stupid. A C minus, actually.
That shit's stupid. Yeah, I knew y'all got him. That shit was it. It was a wrap, bro.
He was the only piece we was missing.
Yeah, the reason why
take it back to last season when we played the Eagles in that conference final game. Had Brock Purdy not been injured, bro, that fucked up the whole game.
Yeah,
had Brock Purdy
and no disrespect to Josh Johnson, but any of us could have got behind center and did what he did. Like, it's just
you should have just lined C-Mac behind center and just let that nigga just cook the whole game. Just you just
like
cook.
Some wildcat shit.
Wildcat shit. Him and Debo in the backfield, just lining up, taking turns, taking snaps. That shit they would have won.
Yeah, man.
So,
I had brought that up in saying that because it was an opportunity to torch the Cowboys because. People say, well, they're 3-1, and then you look at the people that they played. It's like, I get tired of this every year, man. Dallas is on Sunday Night Football all the time. I've been hearing this bedtime story about how they going back to glory from all the fans. It's just old and tired. And then now they're going to play a real team in the 49ers, and it's a double-edged sword because if they get their behinds dragged, Cowboy fans are like roaches. They'll keep coming saying, well, that was just one, we'll get them in the playoffs type stuff. And then if they win, oh, my God, we'll never hear the end of it. We beat the 49ers. We're the class of the NFC. They're kind of trash, man. You talking about Arizona. Arizona beat them.
Arizona beat them.
Yeah, they beat them pretty handily.
It was embarrassing, to be honest.
Okay.
It was embarrassing if you were a Cowboys fan.
Anybody could get pump the brakes. Okay. Anybody could get got once. And I'm not a Cowboys fan, and you know this, right? But let's not act like they don't look good. Let's not act like they
look good against
they played 3 teams and beat them, right? The Giants. The Giants have not been a great team this year, but they're not terrible.
Get them out of here.
They're not terrible. And
who else are the other 3 wins?
They beat Zach Wilson.
They beat the Jets. Jets have a really good defense.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the offense, man.
Okay,
get them out of here.
Their offensive line is terrible, but everybody's offensive line is terrible.
They beat up on New England this past weekend.
New England is a team that has 3 losses, but they have been competitive in all 3 losses, and they have taken those teams to the brink. They are like a sharpening stone for your night.
They weren't competitive in that game, bro. Like
hence why I said the Cowboys are a good team. I don't think they will beat the Niners though, but if they do, it's hard to say that the Cowboys are not the best team in the NFC.
I'm a fucking cry if we lose.
I don't even know if they're the best team in their division.
So you think Philly? Because Philly, to me, and this is funny because I'm looking at Philly, and Philly looks like not the team that I saw last year. They are step off. These niggas almost lost to the fucking Commanders, bro.
Well, to be fair, didn't
they? Most of their players.
They're still 4-0, so you got to give them credit. But they did lose their offensive and defensive coordinator.
And those guys players get traded too as well.
Who?
They lost a couple of. Listen, they lost older vets on a defensive line and brought in younger guys from Georgia.
From last year, signed with the Niners. Hargrave left. T.J. Edwards, who was on that defense, left. They lost some pieces, so you can tell.
They lost. And that's what I'm saying. You could tell like they can get got. Like that first game between the Cowboys and the Eagles are going to tell us a lot about who's going to be at the top of the NFC. Because
I'll agree with you. Outside of the bias, the Cowboys do have a good roster. They do have a talented team.
Bro, they got a good team.
They have like arguably the best defensive player in the league, bro.
Man, it really feels like I fell asleep to this bedtime story for about 30 years here. So keep talking about how the roster in this
point is because it's the Cowboys, because they have a good team. The media is talking about them nonstop, to the point where you want to just throw up unless you're a Cowboys fan.
I say it again, bro. They have not made it to NFC. They talk about every year they go into the Super Bowl. They made it to the NFC Championship since 1995. But this is the year they're going though. Every year is the year they're going. It's just old and tired, man. I'm over it. Other people winning rings and they just living in a dream world in the past, man. I'm over it.
So do you think? So here's the problem, right? If the Cowboys win. Especially if it's a convincing win. I ain't saying they're gonna blow out the Niners, but if it's a convincing win, like 2 touchdowns, right? 10-point lead, 10-point win.
Is that convincing though?
Wait. Cowboys fans are gonna be just you're not gonna hear the end of it, right?
Yeah.
But if they lose, the media is gonna talk about the Cowboys for the next 3 weeks. Which is worse? You turn on the TV, and every time you turn on the TV, you got to hear about the Cowboys and how they done lost it, and how fucking Mike McCarthy is trash, or you want to deal with just a couple of Cowboys fans on Facebook that you ain't even got to go on. Because personally, I want them to win. Nothing against you, Chris. I just don't want to hear. I'm tired of the national media spending 3 segments every fucking day talking about the Cowboys. Like I get what you're saying, 16, but like some point you just like let them niggas win and just shut the fuck up.
He's like, what you say? Get a kid the ball. Let him get the ball.
Get them niggas the fucking popsicle, bro, and shut the fuck up. Get that nigga the freezy pop and send that nigga to bed, dog.
But if they win, they'll go from 3 segments to 4.
It's like
they'll
talk about the game. Taylor Swift covers shit.
Yeah, they'll talk about the game.
Don't talk about
how Dak Prescott's on a revenge tour.
But it would have been earned, bro. I'll give you this as if they win this game against the 49ers, they would have earned whatever segments they get on First Take because they would have beat a real team. Because every week Michael Irvin is about to sweat to death talking about how they back and who are they beating? This is what I'm saying.
He's sweating because there's that.
He's sweating out all them toxins.
That's
Come on, are y'all watching Undisputed? Do y'all watch Undisputed still? Because I'm sorry, it shit just don't hit the same to me.
I just see the clips on YouTube.
And sometimes I'll see a clip and then I'll be like watching on TikTok. I'll be like, man, this shit, I just can't do this shit. Then Michael Irvin and Richard Sherman is yelling at each other, and I just fucking say no. I just can't do it. It's too much.
You got one.
The best segments is when
you got
it's just
one person with anger problems, and you got another one that's off that booger sugar.
Right. And then you got Keyshawn sitting there looking like a fucking wait. What Jimmy say he look like? He say he look like a dyke.
Bro, we gonna get big. We gonna ask Michael Irvin to come on the show. He gonna be like, nah. We gonna ask Keyshawn, be like, nah.
Listen, Keyshawn do look like a dyke. I don't know for what you say. But like it's not good. The only segment on that show that's pretty decent is listening to Rachel, what's her name? White girl? Nichols and Skip, when they have their little segment. It's kind of like Quiet Time, bro. It's like it's a nice flow to it. I can understand it. It's like
bro.
it's best.
Not Quiet Time, bro.
It's so like Quiet Time. He's like, Quiet Time.
When the black
sit down.
Camera is Quiet Time.
That's a parent thing. Quiet time. It's time to sit down and relax. Watch your little TV. I don't want to hear no yelling. And then you got 10 minutes to yourself, and that shit is bliss. Right now, wait, y'all hear anything? Because it's quiet time in my house. It's quiet time.
So we'll transition over because speaking of people getting fired, it's week 4 going into week 5. You know, some of these teams have these high expectations, right? And they swear to God that they're going to be good and they're making
and go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, go to the Super Bowl.
I want to talk about to you guys what coaches you think are on the hot seat. And what I mean by the hot seat is in the next few weeks, you could see them not having their job anymore. So whoever wants to start.
I got one in mind, but I'm not. Maybe I'm sure we might agree on this, but I don't know if he'll lose his job.
Well, let's. Who's on the hot seat?
Y'all boys, man. Y'all boys.
Dennis Allen's on my list. He's on my list right
Dennis
here.
Allen, he gotta
I
get the
saw
fuck
that,
out
and I was a little surprised by that. So y'all don't have a losing record. I don't understand why is he on the. I mean,
he's on the hot seat. You know, I feel like 16 needs to say it because 16 texted me this week one off and said, "I'm starting to lean towards he's got to go." So I'm gonna let 16 take the floor here and explain. And then I'm going to pivot to Tyler to get his thoughts on as well. Because Tyler's the more calm head of the Saints fan group. So I'm going to let 16 take the floor here. And then I'm going to have Tyler talk him off a cliff.
So we'll turn my tide on Dennis Allen because as I tell you in private conversations that we had that when Sean Payton stepped down, I was like, bro, to hell with everybody else. The person that needs to get hired for this job is Dennis Allen. It's a holdover from the Payton era. Blah, blah, blah. And that's where my problem is like, we didn't wipe ourselves clean of the Peyton era. Like Pete Carmichael is still around. We still got Allen. And when Peyton left, we should have just cleaned house of the entire staff and everything. If we moving on, that means we need to move. We should have moved all the way on. And the issue with it is that Dennis Allen, while he might be an excellent coordinator, man, the team don't have that fire, that discipline that it used to have under Peyton. It's just not there. The offense is vanilla. We're boring. Like we've had 15, 16 years of fireworks, and that's the worst part of it. Not only are we mediocre, because you could be mediocre and exciting, we average and we boring. Trash. Get them out of here. We're supposed to be better than this, man. At 3-1 at least. 2-2 is unacceptable, especially paying Derek Carr the way he getting paid. They got to go, man. They're gonna have to go because I don't see no change in it. It's no urgency. So we're mediocre. And we're boring. It's a terrible thing. You're not even being entertained. Get them out of here. Get them out of here.
And the Saints used to be entertaining, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You knew you was getting the fireworks.
Like them years when we were like barely 7-9, 8-8. Drew Brees was throwing for 5 touchdowns and 400 yards. Like at least it was like an entertaining ass game. Like the one that comes to mind for me was
the 08.
Well,
Saints,
I was thinking the game where Drew and Eli Manning both threw for like 7 touchdowns.
There you
And
go.
it was a great game. Obviously, we were pissed because the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. But it was just a great game. It was exciting to watch. Like, obviously, we won, and it came down to the last play of the game. But like, to 16's point, like, what I've liked about Dennis Allen versus Sean Payton, I felt like Sean Payton held on to some of these leftovers for too long, bro. Like these, the Traquan Smiths, the Pierre Thomases, like you letting go of some better players just to keep your boys around, and I didn't like that, right? A lot of these LSU kids that were coming out 40 minutes down the road in Baton Rouge, you get to go see them, and you're not drafting them, like just blatantly not drafting them. It's a position of need. They like a need, and you're just blatantly not right. Like last year, Tyrann Mathieu and Juice Landry both signed with the Saints. Matthew's still on the team.
They got Matthews too late, man.
Honey
Badger's not bad. Like he's not.
He's
still good. He's still top 10 in the league in his position.
Yeah, he's still a good player. But Sean Payton would have never made that signing, and I can tell you that. Like he would have never signed Tyrann Mathieu. And why? Makes no sense. He would have went go find fucking like we signed Marcus May or somebody like that. He would have went go sign a guy like Marcus May and swore to God that was the better player than Tyrann Mathieu, when we all know that Tyrann Mathieu is the guy. So I've liked the fact that Dennis Allen's like, you know what? Let's go get these guys. Let's just make the smart decision. Let's not trade up for some stupid guy like Marcus Davenport. You traded up for Marcus Davenport. He's not on the team anymore. He was always hurt. You could have drafted Lamar Jackson, which made sense. But you didn't. You drafted Marcus Davenport. He's not on the team anymore. Like last year, we traded up for Olave. It made sense. We needed a receiver. He was one of the best receivers in the draft. Like it's just stuff like that. It's like, I'm glad we got rid of that. But to 16's point, you didn't do enough of it. Pete Carmichael got on the podium yesterday and was like, yeah, I need to do more. No, it's beyond needing to do more. You got Derek Carr, who you gave all this money, and all he is throwing check downs to Kamara.
And time out. Can I say something real quick? Just butt in there. I told you so. That's all I'm gonna say. I told you paid him too much. I told y'all you paid him too much. But go on.
To be fair though, he's still back in the division.
No, absolutely. Well, Baker been killing it, but I agree with you. He definitely better than my quarterback.
Derek Carr ain't the problem though. Ezra and I talked about that too. We get into that some other time, but he not the issue because he's not given a chance to do anything. They don't open up anything for him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest. I thought that maybe the problem was Alvin Kamara wasn't there for the first 3 games, and maybe that's why I was a little stale. Maybe that was it. Maybe you just need some more time to gel with Kamara. Because was he able to even practice with y'all?
No, well, I think he started practicing 2 weeks ago. So I think right before you come back from suspension, you can start.
Okay. Practicing. So I don't know. Maybe he got to get some time to get acclimated. Maybe he got to get acclimated. You know what I'm saying?
Kamara didn't look bad on Sunday. He had 13 catches. He ran for a good chunk of yards. He didn't look bad.
He's a volunteer. He should look good.
So Tyler, are you going to talk us off the cliff or?
So, him being on the hot seat, I don't like that because at the same time, he's the head coach, but he's also making the majority of the defensive calls. And we all know our defense is probably we'll say top 10 for sure, maybe top 5 right now.
I give you top 5. I say top 5 for sure.
I'll say top 5 right now. If you get rid of him, what happens to our defense? Is our defense still the same? Does our defense go back to those early, majority Drew Brees years when they were ass? I don't like the fact that we put him on the hot seat. Nah, it's just something about the Saints and early season. Like, for some reason, it takes them a month and a half to get the shit together. Like, it's always been like that. So, like, I was surprised last year when we actually beat Atlanta week 1. Because we play like trash week 1. And then we go out and we lose to Carolina and Tampa Bay 2 and 3. It's like, okay, so yeah, it's the same. It's just because Atlanta, like, we know. So no, I don't think Dennis Allen should be considered on the hot seat. He need to light a fire under them boys for sure. He need to light a fire under the coaching staff, the players, hell, the everybody. If you got Saints gear and you on the sideline for the game, you need to get a fire lit under your ass. Because if we go out Sunday and fuck around and lose to the Patriots, yeah, no. Somebody gonna have to get dealt. I don't know if it's him.
It's a prime time. It's a prime candidate game for the Patriots to get back right. It's like set up for them to get back, and so it's not like it's just gonna be a bad situation. I feel, and this ain't my team because my situation is similar to y'all's situation, which is funny how we go through these parallels because it's like I'm not convinced with my team, but like I understand y'all gripes is like they don't look sharp enough, they don't look snappy enough. But he ain't got a losing record. He is 2-2. That's okay. That's okay to come out of the first 4 games 2-2, right? Y'all play Green Bay. Green Bay is a tough game. You know what I'm saying? They come back? Did you falcon it? Of course you did. But it wasn't like a major falcon it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a 28-3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is a game in September.
It was
Don't
a tough
compare a game
game.
in
I
September
watched the
to the Super
entirety
Bowl.
of the game, and it was a tough game. Y'all wasn't doing shit really the whole game. So it's not like y'all just really fumbled the bag. Did you fumble it? Of course you did, because you're the Saints.
To your point, the Saints didn't lose it. Green Bay won it.
Right. Thank you. Y'all didn't lose it. Green Bay won it. Right?
Yeah.
What's the other game y'all lost?
Easy there on the choke. Easy there on the choke in that talk there, 28-3. But we can keep going though.
Listen, no. I've healed from it. And Tampa that's a tough loss because that's a division loss, right? But at the same time, Tampa is way better than people thought this year. They have the same defense, and their offense is looking better. And Baker Mayfield is out here doing his thing. So it's like it really was true that Tampa's offensive line was terrible last year, and they was all injured, and now they looking decent. I'm afraid to fucking play Tampa, to be honest with you. But
I think to that point, like Tampa literally has the same roster from last year. They just
literally
quarterbacks. So I think to your point, they did kind of maybe go a little too far south with like Tampa's just going to be shit this year.
I don't think that Tampa's going to win the division. I think that at some point Baker's going to turn back into a pumpkin, right?
Right.
But like this is the Cinderella time. This is prime time. He gonna be 4-2, maybe 5-3 or some shit, and then they gonna the bottom gonna fall out because, as you know, injuries get piled up, and it's eventually he not going because he hasn't looked great. He's looked good, but he hasn't looked great. But I do think that saying that y'all coach should be because how long has he been coach? 2 years.
He's in the middle of his second year, so
this like I feel like you gotta at least give him 3 years, right? Now, I have a question for y'all. Somebody said, I'm not sure if it was Easy or M16, but somebody said that y'all didn't kind of like retool and blow and like kind of get rid of all the old players and bring in new players.
Well, no, 16 was referring to the coaches, right? So if you're getting rid of Sean Payton, why are you keeping all of his former assistants, right? Like,
and my point to that is, why are you even sticking with the same team? Period. Like, blow it up. If you're gonna blow it up, blow it up. Now you could keep some key defensive pieces. Like y'all defensive line is great. You can keep some of them secondary pieces, but you should have. If you were gonna blow it up, if you want to get rid of all the coaching and you don't want to keep it the tradition moving, because the reason y'all didn't blow it up because y'all felt like y'all was still a viable option to win
Well,
is
and let's
because
be fair, the roster's still good.
It kind of
right,
was.
but
Ezra
it was,
agree with me.
but
The
on
year, the
offense
year,
it wasn't.
yeah, but the year Peyton, okay, we got ravaged by COVID and injury. And if it wasn't for a fluke comeback by the 49ers on the Rams, we were a playoff team. So they're like, yo, we just need to retool and come back because we were. It was a 9-8 team, but it could have been even better. It could have been a 10-17 if we just got ravaged by injury, COVID, and like I said, an all-time comeback by the 49ers to get in the playoffs.
How many times you gonna fix that Chevy though? Like, how many times you gonna retool?
Well, here's the thing. So when I was bringing up, to Chris's point that Dennis Allen's seat should be hot. Worst, it should be on a medium flame. It ain't all the way high and boiling, but
I would say it should be lukewarm. I say it should be warm to it should be steady.
Here's why it should be medium. Because I go back to last year. You cannot tell me what was the strategy last year. Jameis got hurt. He was back healthy. And you said, you know what? Andy Dalton gives us the best chance to win. And he proved to you every week that he wasn't. What was the strategy? You can't tank. You don't have your first round pick. So you're just out there looking mid as hell? Like, at least Jameis throws the ball down the field. At least he's proven to you in the short
Jameis also threw 30 interceptions in one season.
Yes, but he hasn't done that with the Saints.
Because he hasn't had the opportunity to do that with the Saints. Because because
of
smarter
injury,
people than me limit to what the fuck he doing.
The small sample size that he had in New Orleans, he looked like a good quarterback. I'm not gonna sit here and say he's elite, he's top 15, or go way left with that. But he looked. You cannot tell me that Andy Dalton, at 35 years old, who's changing apartments every year, is better than Jameis Winston, and it made no sense.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm not convinced that Jameis Winston is. Would I take Jameis Winston right now on the Atlanta Falcons over Desmond Ridder? I don't know.
And I don't know. I can't sit there and argue with you and say that you're crazy for thinking that, because yeah, but I don't know. Like that's just where my beef comes in, because like I feel like last year you didn't really have a strategy. You were kind of just like, fuck it, whatever. I get it if you're tanking, right? Like if you're tanking, hey, we got our first round pick. It's gonna be a top 10 pick. Like, we get a top draft pick added to the loaded roster.
But if there's no reason to tank, then it's like
exactly.
But you told me once upon a time you told me that Derek Carr is the right fit and was the right fit. I feel that they knew the Derek Carr thing was going to happen. I feel like they knew they were not going to stick with crab legs, and they definitely wasn't sticking with Andy Dalton. They just needed to get through 1 year, similar to the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons knew Marcus Mariota wasn't it. We knew he wasn't it. When he signed him, we knew he wasn't it. When he played his first 4 games, we knew he wasn't it. But we needed to get through to this year. We need to be able to get some pieces and salary cap space to improve our team. Now, did they stay pat with Desmond Ridder? Yeah,
but they signed Heineke for a reason. They
signed Heineke for a reason, and I also like the Falcons, bro. It's a mess. Like now, I don't think Dennis Allen should be on the hot seat. He should be on like. You ever took a shit at the night in the middle of the night and like your spouse or your wife or whatever had just pissed before and she warmed the seat up? So when you sat down, you was expecting cold ass seat, but it was nice and toasty. That's how his seat should be. Nice, warm, like toilet seat after somebody else sat on it before you. That's how it should be. It should be like, oh, wait a minute. This was warm than I thought. Like, but it shouldn't be like hot because you guys are still 2-2. If you guys were 0-4 like the fucking Carolina Panthers, sorry, Jimmy, that team is trash, and y'all coaching staff is trash.
Oh, it's okay. Jimmy will tell you himself. He
knows on just because he watches the product. I watch the product. I live in Charlotte, right? That team is ass, and Frank Wright is ass, and this is why they shouldn't have hired that nigga. They should have gave it to Steve Wilkes, whatever. That if y'all was 0-4 like them, looking like them, then yes, Dennis Allen should definitely be on a hot seat, but. Y'all don't. Y'all have looked good when you're supposed to look good. You slip one time. And that was against the Green Bay Packers.
And that was Green Bay. Okay.
Right? Y'all played a very tough game 1. Y'all won. Who was it the second team y'all beat?
That ass team you just talked about, Carolina.
Right. Everybody
but struggled against them.
But you struggled. But here's the thing, like you struggled against them. Night. But let's not act like Carolina Panthers defense isn't good. Man, it is good.
That's why I object to that. Because Derek Carr made all the throws he needed to make in that game.
When he needed them. But
when he needed to make them, he made them all.
So I mean, I don't think that your coach deserves. I think like you should give any coach 3 years. Especially if they're coming into a good roster and maybe just need a piece here, a piece there. Y'all didn't even have a quarterback. I feel like you give them 3 years. After this year, if y'all don't make it to the playoffs, then it's like, okay, you got to show me something in year 3.
Now, typically, I'll agree with you on the 3 years, Debo. So, like, Arthur Smith is a good example.
Boom.
Is Arthur Smith in his 3rd year? Or is this
He's in his 3rd year right now. Him and our GM is in their 3rd year.
So, Doug Peter, I'm trying to think of somebody, but I think you give a head coach 3 years when you're coming into a really shitty roster.
Right.
Team is like 2-15, high draft pick incoming. You got a lot of free agency money. It's going to take some time to get that built up. I believe then in the 3-year rule, right? Arthur Smith, last year, Matt Ryan, you knew he was leaving. Roster was kind of in turmoil. You bring in a new GM. That's a little different, right?
His seat shouldn't
be
hot.
Dennis Allen.
Whoa. Who you talking about? Arthur Smith?
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
Oh, no, that motherfucker warm. To me, his seat is warmer than Dennis Allen's seat. But I'll talk about that in a minute.
No, I'm sorry.
I agree with Debo on that.
I don't know about that one.
No, I agree.
Why not?
I agree with Debo on
Why
that.
not? Time out. Let me pivot to Atlanta real quick. Okay. Now, y'all know I was talking big shit before the season started. We going to the Super Bowl. That was crazy. All right, Debo got a little crazy. I do that sometimes, right? I get a little crazy. But I really felt like we was going to win this division.
That's a lot of crazy.
I really feel like we was going to win this division. I felt like our defense, and people still not giving our defense credit.
Balling out.
Our defense is a top 10 defense. If you look at the stats, it's a top 10 defense, but nobody wants to mention that shit. Right?
Jesse Bates is balling out.
Jesse Bates is balling out. Our defensive line, while we don't have a lot of sacks, we do have a lot of pressures. Calais Campbell is doing his fucking thing. Bud Dupree is big on 3rd downs. And fucking Caden Ellis, shout out to y'all. Anyamata, shout out to y'all. Is doing their things. The defense is much improved. Okay. We got Jeff Okudah back. Jeff Okudah made some great plays last game. Our defense is finally clicking. They start off slow, but second half they are locked down, right? And I can't be more happy with our defense. Our offense is stale. You want to talk about stale? It's give it to Bijan. And it's like
where Arthur Smith's seat gets warm, right? So
and that's why his seat is warm because Arthur Smith doesn't allow our OC to call plays. He calls all the offensive plays.
Tyler made a great point with Dennis Allen. Yeah, we say his seat's warm, but he's a defensive coordinator by trade. His defense is actually really good.
Shout out for Ryan Nielsen too. Matter of fact, shout out to the Saints because everything that's good about the Falcons just came from the Saints. So shout out to y'all.
I tried to tell you that in the offseason. Y'all hired our director of scouting because y'all needed some competency.
Shout out to y'all, bro.
Blah, 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 blah. But whatever.
Fine note is that nigga. That's he can get gumbo in Atlanta. We'll get some. Let's find oxtail pizzas for this nigga. Something, bro. But the defense, I couldn't be more happier with. But like at the same time,
Smith's problem is the offense looks like ass, and he's a former offensive coordinator.
And that's crazy to me. It's crazy. It's half Arthur Smith. It's half Desmond Ridder, and it's half our right half of our right tackle.
You have a quarterback. That's why I'm saying that it ain't. That's why I'm saying it ain't hot.
That argument goes out the window because Arthur Smith made Ryan Tannehill look like a top 5 quarterback at times.
He was a top 5 quarterback that year.
He was
in the running for the fucking MVP. Like, what are we saying?
In Nashville thinking that they was winning the Super Bowl. That's how offensive, how good they are.
I remember that run by Tannehill. Making him look competent. What winning did they do during that time?
They made it to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, any banners that came along with that, any rings or anything? I'm just checking here.
A division banner came with it.
Okay, anything of significance, any significant winning.
Wait. This is the same man that told me that we should focus on winning the division and stop trying to look into the Super Bowl. You the same man. You can't have it both ways, 16. You can't say the goal should be getting a division championship and then say, oh, well, they didn't do shit. They didn't win shit.
And to be fair, what winning they did when he was the OC, there were a few years when like Tennessee was like the 1 seed in the AFC. Like they did some
3 straight years they was the 1 seed in the AFC. So like it's not like he don't know what he's doing, but it's like we have it's a couple of things. First off,
you drafted all these weapons and you're not using them. That's what's blowing my mind.
Not only did you draft all these weapons and you're not using them, you drafted weapons that we could have been using now. Like you took Kyle Pitts 3 years ago, right? Number 4 overall. And then you let Justin Fields slip. Now, Justin Fields hasn't looked great, but Justin Fields has been a fucked up situation, right? Justin Fields would be a better quarterback if he was on the Falcons now. I feel personally. I felt like he was the right pick then. But you took Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts looked great that first year with Matt Ryan. He has looked like shit ever since. So much so that Kyle Pitts ain't even running downfield for these passes like that, bro. Now, I will say this. Kyle Pitts is open a lot. And our quarterback is trash, and we won't get it to him, right? Desmond Ridder has looked decent the last couple. Not Desmond Ridder. Drake London has looked good the last couple of games. But that first game, he didn't even do shit, bro. He got 0 fucking catches, which is unacceptable from your wide receiver number 1, right? Mac Hollins had more catches than him. Mac Hollins actually has looked really, really good. I like Mac Hollins. He's a big. He gets open and he gets behind defense. I don't know how y'all let that big nigga get behind him, but he bringing in balls. I fucks with it, right? But legit, our right tackle Caleb McGarry is ass. Desmond Ridder is pressured a lot. Our O-line play has to be better, but there is a lot of times in the games where he has a clean pocket and Desmond Ridder does not throw it downfield. He's underthrowing players. He's overthrowing players. He is not accurate at all. And our problem is you got to be accurate. We ain't saying you got to be Patrick Mahomes accurate, but you got to get these motherfuckers the ball, bro. You should not be overthrowing Kyle Pitts when he done got behind a fucking linebacker, bro. That's crazy. That's a touchdown that you just overthrew. And that's because Arthur Smith is choosing to ride with Ridder, and he is choosing to make this play. I believe that this is the situation. Our quarterback is trash, and Arthur Smith is dumbing down the offense to placate our quarterback because y'all chose him. Like, there's no reason why you should have chosen. What the fuck going on right? There's no reason why he should have been drafted. You drafted him, what, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th, something like that? Like, he's not a good quarterback. He should be a backup right now. And, like, when you have the opportunity to go out here and get a better quarterback, like, I make this argument right now. I'm looking at, before the draft, y'all had a show, and we was talking about how they were getting on CJ Stroud about his, like, testing, right? And how his draft stock was, quote-unquote, falling. He's the best-looking quarterback in this whole draft class. You could have given up something to go get him. You could have given up a first overall pick to go get him number 2. You could have. We could have did the same move that Carolina did to go get Bryce. Now, I stand on my statement that Bryce Young is too small to play in the NFL. I'm sorry, Carolina. You picked the wrong guy.
It's showing.
You picked the wrong guy. CJ Stroud looks incredible.
Honestly,
even Anthony Richardson looks incredible.
I was just about to say that. You know, I liked Anthony Richardson coming out. I thought, no offense to Tyler in Florida, but I thought they didn't use him right. I felt like they didn't put him in the best situations to win. And I felt like if he went to the right situation, he would look good. So far, he has. I don't know if we lost Debo if he went off camera, but Tyler, you're the calm head of this group. Who's actually on the hot seat? Who needs to be on the hot seat?
Man, he got to be on the hot seat. Yeah, they got him a good win last night, but that was their first win in almost a full calendar year. Like that's bad.
Yeah, Eberflus is on my list. I agree with you. I think.
What about
347 days
from the Giants? Coach from the Giants.
Dayball? No. Dayball just took him to the playoffs last year, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's just getting exposed, right? Like, you know how Like I don't know how to explain it, but like they figured him out basically. He
I
got
think
away with
Dayball
it
is
last
paying
year.
for the mistakes of the front office and AGM because they literally chose to give Daniel Jones the bag.
The bag. He got
And
It was
the
low, it was
bag.
low key his
he
fault.
is not a bag quarterback.
But
Daniel
it
Jones
was
is slightly better than Desmond Ritter, and he's making $45 million a year.
it was low key Dayball's fault though, because he made him look better than he has.
But you had data. But you had data. You had data.
Oh,
Dayball could
I
have.
agree. Don't get me
You
wrong.
had data.
I
Like
hated Daniel Jones coming out. I hated the pick from the day he got drafted.
you are a GM. Your job is to look at objectively the data and the analytics and decide who should be given what. Saquon Barkley, when he's not injured, is the best player on your team. And guess what? If you gave Saquon Barkley $40 million over what, 3 years, right? 45 million. You give him 1 year of Daniel Jones' salary over 3 years. That's still a better investment because it's cheaper. It's just cheaper. You could cut him at the end of that contract. You don't have to renew because you already know how running backs are looked at in the league. But if you gave him 45 million and put the fucking franchise tag on DJ right now, at the end of this year, you're trying to right now get into the fucking Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
Right.
Because at this point, you'll be like, well, shit, let's just fucking lose. We only got DJ for 1 year. Fuck him. We could bring Caleb in here with Jalen Hyatt, who's been killing it. Like I said, he was gonna be killing it. You got all those weapons in New York. You went ahead and got the tight end from Oakland over there. And with Caleb Williams, they would have been great. Then you could focus on that offensive line, which is fucking terrible. But like Dayball, I think he gets another 2 years.
We haven't talked about this guy yet, but Brandon Staley needs to be fired real soon.
Oh, you want to talk about hot seat? That's the seat that should be fucking hot.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. The Chargers on bye this week, but they're like 1 and whatever.
1-3.
1-4. That's a top job too. Is
and it goes back to the principle of you're a defensive guy. You have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Your defense sucks. Justin Herbert is playing his ass off, and y'all are barely winning games because you're just literally fucking up everything. Like, he should have been fired after that blow up in the playoffs last year. You get Sean Payton, which I think that was the job Sean Payton wanted. I really think Sean Payton wanted that job. But he
honestly, Sean Payton should have went to the Panthers. Like, I hate to say it. The Panthers was a better job because Frank Reich brought in all this. Oh, I got all these pros that used to be pros, and they are on our coach staff. It's elite coach staff, and his offense is fucking terrible, right? Sean Payton with the weapons, because Denver, I feel like, has had some bad breaks, right? Other than outside of that fucking,
but you
outside of that Miami game, they've been putting up points.
But you signing up for, first of all, you're signing up for third place. Well, or
you're going into already one division, exactly.
Yeah. You battling really hard for second place in that division. Then
and you know the South.
Mahomes and Herbert twice a year. Like,
you already know the NFC South. Like, he knows the Saints. He knows what they're gonna do. I would have went to the Panthers because you know the Falcons. You know Arthur Smith. You already know what he runs. You know what the Falcons are. You know what the Tampa Bay Bucks are. It would have just been coming up here to Carolina. You already got a defense ready. You already have a great defense, and it's just tweaking your offense. You would have had the number 1 pick. I guarantee you probably would have picked C.J. Stroud. I don't know.
Or Anthony Richardson for sure.
Or Anthony Richardson. Like, I would be really sad right now if C.J. Stroud was on the Carolina Panthers. That shit would fucking devastate me.
Well, they picked Bryce. So, but speaking of Sean Payton, I want to give the floor here to M16 because I know he has some thoughts about this Sean Payton experiment so far. I don't want to call it anything else but an experiment right now. So 16, the floor is yours with Sean Payton.
All right. So as I'm gonna be your court jester, you know, this is your show. I'll be trying to like push back, like I don't want to do this, but no, I want to do this one. So I want to speak this out here that's on the record for on the go, that any loss by the Denver Broncos to me is as good or better than a Saints win, in my view. All right. Sean Payton could have easily just stuck around in NOLA and been competitive and or struggle or whatever right here with us. So again, my mission in life now is no longer rooting for him to do well or to win any games. My mission in life is to see him embarrassed, chewing that gum, looking befuddled like, damn, I either should have stayed in New Orleans or on TV. Fuck that team. Fuck him. I want them to lose every game by 1,000,000 points. Literally, that was the only thing that hurt me more, us losing to Tampa Bay, is that knowing that the Broncos ended up winning their first game. When they lose, life is better. Air feels better. Food tastes better, you know. And if they win the game, it's like I'm depressed. Like, damn, I don't. And what's messed up is that one of my co-hosts and a really good friend of mine, one of my best friends, the jerk, is a Broncos fan, and I'm wishing misery on one of my good friends. So I'm just speaking this out there for the record. I want Sean Payton to perfect my entire existence on Sundays. Is yes, I'd like a Saints win, but I also am plotting Sean Payton's professional demise on every play. It's why I wake up on Sundays.
Nigga, you a hater, bro.
Let's go. Whoever's against the Broncos, that's my guy. That's my team that week. Let's go get them. Who do they play this week? Who is it? Who is it this week? It doesn't matter. Go whoever it is.
Let me tell you something. That's the difference between.
All right, let's go. Jets, Jets. Let's get it.
That's the difference between a Falcons fan and an uncivilized Saints fan. You motherfucker. Let me just tell you this right now. Had Dan Quinn won that Super Bowl, I don't care how bad it would have ended. I would never wish the vitriol that you just did on the only coach that has really taken your team to the promised land. The most winningest coach in your franchise history. You literally are saying this nigga is trash. It's not even like you went to the Super Bowl and lost it, right? You are saying fuck that nigga. That's crazy. You would not have a Super Bowl without that nigga. That's crazy.
And he wouldn't have one without us, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
He would have had one without you, nigga, because you a nigga that's on the sideline. You ain't even on the field, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
Listen, it ain't changing my view one bit. He could have stayed right there. He decided to go take it to Denver. Go on, take it to Denver. But make sure Broncos country, let's ride out some losses. Let's get it.
We used to break up with bitches. You used to be like, "Oh, fuck that bitch. Oh, she just terrible. Oh, she down bad. Oh, she on welfare." That's terrible. You gonna block your blessings.
You know, it's funny. So like, 16 to me just now was the kid that said, "I don't want this food. I want McDonald's or whatever." And Debo was the parent that said, "There are kids starving in Africa. You need to be grateful for this food that is on your plate."
That's exactly what it was, nigga. Because I'm a nigga who. Right now, Dan Quinn is doing well on the fucking Cowboys. And while Dan Quinn totally fucked my franchise, I don't wish him bad. I'm just happy he off my team. Now, I will say this. Kyle Shanahan, I wish bad. But he lost us the Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? He lost us the Super Bowl. Then there's reports coming from Devontae Freeman, our old running back, who said that Kyle Shanahan had received fucking like a compensation from the Patriots that they were going to trade him because he already knew he was going to be the coach for the 49ers, and that he tanked the game so that they would trade him Jimmy G for like nothing, which is crazy to me.
Damn.
If that's true.
That is a wild ass theory right there.
That's what go on Twitter. That's what Devontae Freeman, he literally said. He liked the post that said that shit.
Oh my god. Whoever
he's not even.
He ain't even in the league, but it's like
when he was good. But
whoever put that
it doesn't make sense that we were up 28 to fucking 3 and that we just wouldn't run the fucking ball in the second half. It doesn't make sense.
Man, listen, Debo, whoever put that tweet out there was the same people who was like, I'm gonna turn my phone off during this alert that they got going on. They ain't finna get me. That's the same person.
That was stupid. Yeah. But either way, whether it's real or not, I still don't wish Dan Quinn no like ill will, and that's crazy. I mean, he stayed. Like, how long did you expect the nigga to stay? His coach the quarterback that he wanted retired, nigga. There's nothing else to do.
If he just waited a year,
for who? Derek Carr? You think he wanted Derek fucking Carr?
Man, he would have been fine. Derek Carr is competent. With who? He'd have been fine.
He wouldn't have been fine. He didn't want Derek Carr. It's obvious he don't think that Derek Carr got it.
I'm sorry we brought this to y'all air. I just seriously just need to say this one more time for the record. His professional demise every Sunday is the reason why I wake up on Sunday. I need it, I want it, and I can't live without it. I need it. Let's go Jets. Let's go Jets.
Ungrateful niggas, boy.
Jets. Let's get it.
Niggas and flies, I do despise because y'all niggas don't care. Y'all that's how you know niggas don't deserve shit. Niggas don't need
country.
Shit.
Let's flop. Let's get it.
They should have never gave you niggas money. That's what it was. That's what it is. It's giving very much Chappelle show, nigga.
So we're gonna pivot from NFL and we'll talk a little NBA and then we'll wrap up the show. So obviously training camp has started for the NBA. But before that started, Damian Lillard is now in Milwaukee as a Milwaukee Buck. Drew Holiday spent a night in his house in Milwaukee, then spent a night at a hotel in Portland. Now he's in Boston.
He didn't even move. He didn't even fly out. He stayed in Milwaukee. He didn't even go.
Just to be dramatic, you know. Mm-hmm. But obviously this offseason's been crazy. Basketball's back. I mean, we already got fucking the Mavericks playing the T-Wolves in Abu Dhabi. So there's already preseason basketball being played. Yeah, like that shit. Like I just looked and I was like, fucking Luka. I saw Luka Doncic highlight and I thought it was a highlight from last year. And nah, they're playing in fucking Dubai. But anyways, what are some things you guys are looking at? You know, going into this preseason, is there a storyline that you're following? Is there a certain player that you're looking at and you're like, you know, just throw it out there?
Motherfucking Pelicans gotta stay healthy. That was just keep it at that. We just keep it in stack. We gotta stay healthy so we can see this big three play.
Tyler, you know me, I'm a Nola guy, but I'm extremely worried about the Pelicans even making the playoffs in the West. I mean,
the West,
like I think the world of Oklahoma City. I think they got an absolutely loaded roster, and they might be a play-in team.
And they got tons of picks. They keep reloading because they got picks for the next 12 years. Is insane.
Like if we just rattle off, right? So Denver obviously won the championship. You got
they should be the number one team for real. So they really kept their team together.
Denver, LA Lakers, who I mean literally had a good offseason. I think Christian Wood is going to be really good for them.
Yeah.
Golden State went get Chris Paul. I mean, the Warriors is still good.
Moved off of Jordan Poole.
Yeah. Got rid of the fights. Phoenix has Bradley Beal, DeAndre, and Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker,
Nurkic.
Who's serviceable? Who's good? He older, but he's serviceable.
LA Clippers, if healthy, they have Kawhi, PG. Russell
move past.
They might be getting James Harden.
Listen, we just seen this before. Move past that shit. Niggas get him more passes than they gave fucking Brooklyn, nigga, and I'm trying to understand why.
Well, I mean, the West is absolutely loaded. The East,
the West is stacked, yeah.
I mean, the East is loaded. You got Milwaukee who traded for Dame, and they might have fucked up and let Drew Holiday go to the Celtics. Like
to their nemesis. They literally let him go to their nemesis, which is crazy.
I mean, you could argue the Celtics might have the better team.
I think the Celtics have the better starting six. I think it's different. So. Here's the thing: Celtics is going to be better at shooting the three, right? They're going to be better at perimeter defense. They're not going to be better at like rim protection. They're not going to be better in just like making plays because we've seen the Celtics. We've seen them motherfuckers, each one of them motherfuckers fold like tissue paper. They done lost key pieces to their fucking defense because they were a defensive team 2 years ago. And they lost key pieces to their defensive identity because Marcus Smart, while Drew Holiday is better on defense, I think right now than Marcus Smart is.
You know, all defensive team good.
Right. All defensive team. Marcus Smart is a former defensive player of the year.
Right.
His defensive IQ was like up there, and he was that heart and soul of that team. He was that toughness of that team, and now it's gone. And Drew Holiday is very much a good player. I don't say he's a tough player. I think he's just a cog, and he plays his role. Now, who is going to be the hardest? Who's going to lead the team? Because it's just like with Draymond in Golden State. Draymond is the leader of the Warriors. Steph is the
Well,
best player.
I think they basically told JT like, this is your team. You need to lead it.
Yeah, but we've seen JT fold. JT soft as fucking tissue paper, bro. JT will drop you 50, and then the next 2 nights will drop you fucking 10 and 10. Like
I think to your go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, we were speaking to JT. I was just thinking now. I'm chuckling because y'all remember when my nigga put that picture up of him texting Kobe phone and be like, "I got you, bro."
Yeah, bro. They've been killing him ever since. They've been
only to go fucking lose the playoffs right after that.
Man,
shit.
they like. I mean, I agree with you, Debo. Do they have the same toughness that they had last year? The answer is no. Smart's gone. Time
Robert
Lord
Williams is gone.
Yeah,
he's
Robert Williams
gone.
going also.
And like Porzingis can give you some rim protection, but Porzingis is not a defensive player. Like, why are we acting like Porzingis can play defense, good defense?
But
He okay.
But I gotta steal my brother's line here. They didn't do any winning with that toughness, right? They didn't do any winning with Marcus Smart. So do you pivot? I mean, think about it. If Kristaps Porzingis is healthy the whole year, with Jason Tatum, with Jaylen Brown, with Drew Holiday is the most underrated player in the league. I've been saying this since he was on New Orleans. He is a all-star caliber guard. I mean, he plays great defense, great passer, really good offensively. He's an upgrade over.
I that's the point I'm gonna disagree with you, because the reason that the Celtics were not good this year is because in the playoffs he was bad offensively, and he was bad offensively the year before that.
You talking about Drew Holiday?
Drew Holiday.
Well, Drew Holiday let his nuts hang in that finals. He's the reason why they won. Him and Giannis.
And that was 2 years ago.
That was
2 seasons ago.
Point is you can't. Okay, their starting point guards last year was Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon. Drew Holiday.
Derek White is a good point guard. First off, Derek White is very good. That's why they didn't trade him. They didn't want to trade him because Derek White is very good.
Derek White.
I would say defensively, it's an even. I think Derek White is better on offense, and Drew is better on defense. And to pair them together is honestly, it's gonna be similar to a Trey and DeJounte Murray situation. If they can coexist, then it's gonna be great. If it was like my team this year, it's gonna be a struggle. Because my problem is with the Celtics is when it's time to go get a bucket, their 2 stars, JT and JB, crank. Like JB will have a good first half, and then he will never get the ball the second half. JT gets the ball and he starts jacking up threes instead of driving to the basket. Like my problem with the Celtics is fundamental, and it starts at they head coach. But it's like we've seen them do this same shit 5 years in a row. Like I get it, they look good in the regular season, and then they get to the playoffs and they can get to these finals, but then they get beat by the fucking Miami Heat, who have no reason to beat them. Miami Heat was an AC that my team beat in the play-in, and they almost lost the second play-in game.
But in basketball, you can argue that every team that has become a dynasty or that's won a championship, they never did it in their first try in the playoffs, right? Like Golden State, I find is a really good example. They went into the playoffs. They played a hard series against the Clippers. They lost, but they took that loss and ran with it. They've been great ever since, right? You look at Denver. Denver's had some tough losses. They lost to some teams that they had no business losing to in the playoffs.
They were injured too. Jamal Murray, their second best player, Jamal Murray, was injured. After the bubble, he was injured for 2 years, essentially.
Right.
And when he was healthy, they won it all.
Right.
So my question to you is, what is the Celtics' excuse? Because let's just count back 5 years. Because they have been in the playoffs with this core for 5 straight years, right? The first year you can argue the first year it was because of Kyrie, right? And JB and Jason Tatum were very young, right?
Right.
And in the second year, they made it to the conference finals, and then they lost. And in the third year, they lost. Oh no, second year they lost to the Nets. And then the third year, they made it to the conference finals and they lost. The fourth year, they made it to the conference finals and then made it to the finals and lost. And then last year, they made it to the conference finals and lost.
But I think they made the changes that they felt were needed, right? So like, Robert Williams when healthy, really good defensive, big man, all kinds of potential, but his ligaments are the strength tissue paper. He's always hurt.
And Porzingis don't always be hurt neither.
Well, true, but
you traded defense for offense, and I get that. But if they both gonna be hurt, it's a wash. It's not better. And you depending on 50-year-old Al Horford. Like, I'm trying to understand, like, to your argument, if you lose, you make the adjustments and you get better, like Golden State, like Denver. What adjustments have they made to get better in 5 years?
Well, I think, like we talked about, right? Golden State had their core in place. They had Draymond, they had Steph, they had Clay. They went go get a guy like Andre Iguodala, right? They went go get Andrew Bogut. Those smaller moves that help the core, right? The core for the Celtics is JT and JB. Like, you're not breaking that. They're young, they're in their prime. So you go get Drew Holiday, who's an upgrade over Malcolm Brogdon.
I agree. He's an upgrade.
How you feel about Derek White? Drew Holiday's an easy upgrade for me over Derek White. Now, obviously, they'll probably play together. Porzingis is an upgrade over Robert Williams. A healthy Porzingis is better than Robert Williams. Obviously, he's going to let everybody score on the other end, to your point. But Porzingis is a 20 and 10 guy when healthy. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that. I feel like but we are letting his last year affect his recency bias. I feel like we're letting his last year affect what we saw from him in Dallas and what we saw from him in New York. In New York, he was okay, but he wasn't a world beater, and he definitely didn't do shit in Dallas. Now, that could be attributed to Luka not passing the ball, and I get that, right? But, like, he was on a bad Washington Wizards team that nobody was really taking seriously.
Right.
It's good to be the big fish in a little pond.
In basketball, shit can pop off for you at any time. So it's, if you blowing it up, it's because you really blowing it up. Like, I mean, if I'm the Celtics, if I'm the GM of the Celtics, I would have done the same thing. I'm not breaking up JT and JB. I'm gonna let that thing ride till the wheels fall off, right? I mean, hell, look, you just mentioned Jimmy Butler. Look what he's doing in Miami by himself.
Yeah.
And look how successful that's been.
Yeah, they've been to 2 finals in like 4 years, so I agree with you.
Yeah, but so, I mean, the East is going to be interesting.
I definitely think that for me, the team to beat is Milwaukee, because minus Drew Holiday, Milwaukee is still the same team.
The same team.
And you just got a fucking nuclear bomb that can go for fucking 50 and 60 any night. That's going to be shooting from the logo.
Giannis has done that. Giannis
that's going to be shooting from the logo.
50 and 20 or whatever,
Giannis took this team and won a finals and won a championship with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez on his team. Now, I'm not saying they did bad players, but they're nowhere near the quality or caliber of Dame. None of them is actually of the quality or caliber on the 2 guards or the 2 wing players on the Celtics. JB and JT are better than every other player on that Milwaukee Bucks team, minus Giannis and Dame now, right? And you beat them, and then you went to the fucking finals and beat whoever the fuck you beat in the finals, the Suns that year.
Suns, yeah.
So you're literally taking a top 10 player and merging him with a top 3, 2. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. Does the defense get a little bit worse on the perimeter? Sure. They're going to compensate for it. They'll figure it out. I feel like they're the team to beat. Because for me, from what I've seen from the Celtics for 5 years in a row, it's to me, it's the same like the Buffalo Bills of the 90s. Yeah, you make it to the championship every year, but you losing every year, my G.
I mean, right now, that's a fair comparison. I can't argue with you on that. Like, I mean, you gave Chris Middleton a little shit there, but I mean, when he's healthy, he's a 20-point-a-game guy.
And he old too, and he old, and he don't be, and he not healthy. Last year he wasn't healthy.
is still a good center. He's decent.
He's
Better
definitely a good
than
center. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that those players are bad players. What I'm saying is the two players on the Celtics are way in a Cal. They're superstars. Those two are
Yes.
superstar players,
Mhm.
right? That's a top.
And you
That's
got
all NBA
Giannis and
1 and
Dame
2.
that are the superstars of Milwaukee.
Right.
What I liked about Milwaukee, to your point, they didn't blow up the team to get Dame. They still have a very good roster.
Because
Like
fuck them picks.
like Malik Beasley might be starting at shooting guard for them, and that's a 15-point a game guy. He's not a terrible player. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, now Philly's in trouble. If I'm Joel Embiid, if Harden's on the way out, I'm right behind them. Like,
If I'm Joel Embiid, I'm trying to get to a contender. I'm trying to get my way to somebody else with a superstar. You know what? I mean, I'm not trying to blow my own dick off, but like if the Hawks traded for Joel Embiid with Trey DeJounte, if we kept Trey DeJounte, AJ Griffin, and had Joel Embiid, I don't care who you start at for, Jalen Johnson, so you can give him up too. I don't give a fuck. I feel like we are a contender too.
I would agree with you, but I feel like
they're never going to get.
Y'all not going to get them that easy.
Our owner is trash, but I feel like Joel Embiid has to be like looking at teams of like who needs a center they're 1 me away from going over to the top. Right?
I mean, if you look at Brooklyn, if Brooklyn had Joel Embiid on their team, man, I mean him, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, that's a team, man. That's a good team.
What if Joel Embiid made his way to Miami?
That's a good team.
Because to me, Bam Adebayo is not a center.
Well, to your point, you move Bam. To your point,
to the 4.
6'9", 6'10". You move him to the 4.
To the 4. If you have Bam at the 4, you got Joel at the 5, and you got Jimmy at the 3. Oh my god! I don't care who your fucking point guard is.
Yeah,
you can rent a point guard for that matter. You can get me to come play point guard, and them niggas is gonna win.
So who's a team in the East that we haven't mentioned yet that could be sneaky good?
You just started talking about them. Miami.
Miami, but we've seen that story, right? You know, it's like.
So here's the problem with Miami. Now, I feel like Miami is their culture helps them win, right? I also feel like specifically last year, they were dealt a lot of fortunate shit. They played Giannis, 1.5 out of 5 games, 6 games, something like that. Giannis healthy, that series is a different series.
Miami keeps getting away with having these undrafted, out of fucking nowhere guys playing key roles for them. They keep getting away with it, and that's why obviously.
And they had 2 of them leave, but they had 2 of them leave. They best shooters left.
Well, that's why they keep trying to go get another superstar, right? Because they know they can only do that for so long. They thought Kyle Lowry was that guy.
They were so confident. They were so confident they were going to get Dame that they let their best shooters, the 2 best shooters on their team, walk in free agency, which is crazy. Like, I get it. They overachieved last year, but they also had a very fortunate role. They slipped to the A seed, and probably to me is the best opportunity for them because Giannis gets hurt. You go past Milwaukee, then you get the Knicks in the second round. The Knicks are fucking nothing. So of course you make it to the finals. And then you got the
part ain't their fault though, Debo. I mean, it's
I'm
not like they tried to take him out.
I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying the way shit aligned was very fortunate for them.
It worked out.
It won't be that same way this year.
I mean, it
because
takes a
the
lot
Cavs
of.
are going to get better. The Cavs are getting better. The Knicks are going to get better, right? These are teams. I'm not even talking about my team, but those are 2 teams that you're going to have to contend with seriously. And if you don't want to be in the play-in for another straight year, like that's just not it. Trust me, I know. You don't want to be in the play-in 2 straight years. I just feel like
a lot of things to bounce your way to win a championship, even in strange situations to get to a finals or conference finals. Some things just gotta go stuff just has to happen.
And I don't think that just happens every year. I don't think that happens 2 years in a row, especially if you don't get better in the offseason. I looked at my team make to a conference finals in 20 whatever year it was, and they stayed pat. Was like, oh no, we good. We're not gonna do nothing in the offseason. And everybody else around us got better. And then it was like, well, fuck. We in the play-in because we didn't do anything.
With the Celtics, right? It's like You got JT and JB. It's not working with Rob Will. It's not working with Malcolm Brogdon. You got to
No, I
pivot.
feel like it's the best move. Their team is going to be interesting. If again, their team is going to be based off of coaching. If their coach gets better this year than he was last year, then I feel like they're going to be a real one or two, either first or second place.
I'm not trying to toot your own horn, but I think Atlanta's going to be a sneaky good team this year. I love Quinn Snyder. I think Quinn Snyder is he's like a mini Greg.
He don't really want you to say that.
No, I don't. Because here's the problem.
Because I like Quinn Snyder. It's more Quinn Snyder because I feel like he makes shit and just turns it into something that's very good on the basketball
court. He
turned
Donovan Mitchell into a star, right? Like, let's just call it a spade, right? He made him a star. I feel like that's what he's going to do to Trey. I'm not saying that I feel like we're not going to be a good team. My problem here is the problem with our team is our owner. Our owner doesn't want to go into luxury tax. He doesn't want to spend money. And we literally have a gaping hole at the 4 now. JC is gone. I feel like JC should have been gone. Jalen Johnson is a guy, but Jalen Johnson is
he the guy? Because
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he has to take a major step. And we right now need some shooting. We need some shooting, and that's the problem. Like, that's why it was like we need Pascal Siakam. Like, had we been able to get Pascal Siakam, then I'd be like, oh, we are definitely a top 4 team in the NBA in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, for sure.
But I still feel like we need another piece. We need either a younger center that's really good, like a Joel Embiid, or we need another 4 that can shoot. Because Sadiq Bey is good, and I like Sadiq Bey, but he's not a starter, right? He comes off the bench. Jalen Johnson is good. I don't think he's a starter. And
Jalen Johnson, he's so young to where you don't know which way he's gonna go, right?
Right.
And it sounds like a lot of Hawks fans think that he is gonna be the guy that like Quinn Snyder kind of just ascends and.
Well, he's already picked him. Like Quinn Snyder has played Jalen Johnson more minutes since he's come to the team than he did AJ Griffin. I like AJ Griffin. I feel like AJ Griffin has like 3 buzzer beaters in the year, which is like unheard of a rookie.
Shit out the ball.
Right. He can shoot. He's a decent defender. He plays the wing. He can play the 2 or the 3. He's a good player, but he plays Jalen Johnson more, and I get that. I feel like with the whole offseason with Quinn Snyder, we should be a better looking team. We should not literally be the definition of mid. Literally, we was mid last year, 41 and 41.
Yeah, but that's why you made the change. Like, I'm all here for the brothers being successful coaches out here, but we've seen the Nate McMillan story. He's gonna take your team on one really nice playoff run and get you going. He did it with the Pacers, he did it with Portland, and then he's just gonna be mid the rest of the way. Like 41 and 41 or 39 and 43.
Where he at now? Did he get another head coaching job?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Because Kendrick Perkins fat tongue ass told me he was the greatest coach ever. Kendrick Perkins, you dummy, you fucking idiot. You told me he was the greatest coach ever, remember? Fuck out of here, nigga.
Chris Tyler, any teams or any players that you're keeping a close eye on as this training camp gets going preseason?
I mean, my player I'm always following. It's been since my guy Derrick Rose, man. I'm just happy out of New York.
Well, where's he at? He's
in Memphis.
He's on the Knicks now, right?
Memphis.
He's in Memphis. Okay.
Yeah.
In Memphis. Yep. I'm excited to see D Rose at this stage in his career now. He's what we consider a vet now, especially you got a vet.
He at this point, I think he's an OG.
For sure, he OG. And
he 10 minutes a game, OG. He ain't even like getting 20 minutes. He getting like 10 minutes.
I hope he doesn't reach the dreaded keep getting them checks guy territory.
Right.
That Vince Carter shit.
Jalen Rose came up with that years ago, and I was like, that's like the greatest thing I've ever heard. I think it was like it might have been like Corey Maggette or Elton Brand. He was like, Man, at this point, they just getting them checks, man. You know, they just.
It was Maggette, because I think Elton Brand had moved on to the front office at that point.
Well, T-Mac stayed a little too long. He was still getting them checks. You know, Steven Jackson was another guy. Vince Carter was another guy.
But to your credit, though, Chris, Memphis should be good this year again, and they don't even have their best player.
And we didn't even mention them when we were talking about top teams in the West. Like, you're right. You got Triple J, you got John Morant, you got Desmond Bane. That's gonna be a really good team.
And they got Marcus Smart.
They got Marcus Smart. That's what I'm saying. They got Marcus Smart, D Rose. They got some players, bro.
Steven Adams, like, I mean,
he's coming back because he was hurt during the playoffs last year. Like, that team is gonna be tough even without Ja.
That's an all-star team in 2018.
Imagine Ja in fucking
20-something games.
This was 2018.
That's gonna be crazy.
Triple J just won Defensive Player of the Year last year. Or he was.
Imagine when Ja come back, though. Imagine Ja and Marcus Smart starting, bro. That's gonna be crazy.
Well, they are starting. I assume the lineup is gonna be Ja, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, Triple J, and then
Steven Adams.
And I like this too. I like this for D Rose too, in a sense, because like when we speaking of Ja, it ain't 2011, but when we looking at Ja, who does Ja remind us of?
Derrick Rose, for sure.
And Derrick Rose might be the motherfucker to help get some sense into his young ass.
He's an OG.
How did we forget Memphis, dog? Memphis is gonna be legit this year. I know Ja ain't there, but nigga, they don't need Ja. That's the problem. They don't need Ja.
He's only out 20-something games.
24.
I mean, only games. Only 20, that's 20, a lot. 24. That's a long time.
Well, here's the thing. You got Marcus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Desmond Bane. You just paid him a shit ton of money. He's gonna still be. He'll walk in bucket. Jaren Jackson Jr. is back. Like
bucket.
They're gonna be all right.
No, they're gonna be definitely all right. If they win like 15 games in that first 25, if they go 15-10, I feel like they definitely in the hunt for a top 3 seed in the West. And like niggas gonna have to fucking really contend with that. The West is tough this year. I know we say that every year, but god damn, the West is tough.
The West, I mean, like I know they just traded Dame Lillard, but I love what Portland did in that trade. I think DeAndre Ayton,
right?
He gets a fresh start. He could be a 20-10 guy.
He should be a 20-10 guy.
He should be.
Let's just call a spade a spade. Monty Williams did not give DeAndre the ball. And I get it.
For sure.
You had KD, you had Chris Paul, you had Devin Booker, but like he should have been focused, rolled into that offense more, bro. There's no reason why he wasn't at least 15-10.
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I get they got Nurkic, and Nurkic is probably going to do a little bit more, focus more on the rebounding and the defensive piece, but you can't tell me he's better than DeAndre Ayton. Like, that's just
he's just a better fit for their team philosophy. Like, I'm in human resources, right? And I used to hire people, right? I used to be an HR manager where I would give interviews, I would hire people, I would send people off for jobs or whatever. And every week we did a big hiring 2 times a week. I worked for like a big warehouse. Sometimes it's not about how qualified a person is. When you go to interview, and this is just life lessons, it's not about how qualified you are. It's more about if you're going to be a good fit for that already placed team. They are judging not just you, but your personality, because everybody's faking an interview. But there's certain questions that they ask you, and that when you by this 16 by working at the Orange Company, there's certain questions on that scale that they ask you that is used to determine if you're going to be a good fit. And it's addition by subtraction. DeAndre Ayton was not a good fit for the team with KD and Devin Booker, right? Devin Booker and KD are supposed to be like some Jordan type people, and DeAndre Ayton don't want to fuck with Jordan type niggas. He wasn't I'm gonna just do my role and shut up, fat boy, and get over and do. He ain't like that. He needs to be fucking coddled and he needs to be taken care of. And I feel like Portland is gonna be a great squad for him because he got young people around him that's gonna listen to him now.
Yeah,
let's feed the big man.
I mean, we'll see how it plays out, right? But that's how you do a rebuild, right? Like,
yeah,
you got Scoot Henderson, you got Anthony Simons, you got Jeremy.
They got
Grant,
a ton of guards, bro.
Ayton, who are like the veteran guys, like you said. Like, they're not. If they're your best players, you're not winning anything, right? But like, those are good players. They're good.
Don't be surprised they make an 8 seed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the fucking I mean, I want New Orleans to be good, but like they're gonna be. I feel like they're gonna be fighting for a play-in spot. Like Oklahoma City, you got SGA, you got Josh Giddey. Like, fuck.
What's
man.
that tall nigga? The tall motherfucker name?
SGA.
No. Chet Holmgren, ain't he on there?
Yeah, Chet this will be his first year. He's healthy. Like, yeah. J-Dub was good last year. Jalen Williams, the rookie. Like, they got a damn good team, man. Like, I mean, look, me and 16 talk about this at least once a month, or maybe it's twice a year now. But like, they just need to go ahead and add these 2 expansion teams to Seattle and Las Vegas, so New Orleans and Memphis can just move to the East for good, bro. Because I'm tired of this battling.
No, y'all keep y'all motherfucking ass over there, nigga. I don't need y'all niggas coming back over here clogging up our fucking shit. Because right now we could be as 5 or 6 seed, nigga. I don't need y'all niggas coming here now. We fucking figured out who gonna be the 5th or 6th seed. No, fuck out of that. Stay y'all niggas over there, bro. What they do is they add 1 team to the West, 1 team to the East. They add fucking Seattle back. And then they can add some stupid ass team over here.
It makes no sense to have Memphis or New Orleans in the West.
Tampa, they can add Tampa. Tampa need a basketball team.
Vegas is definitely getting a team, bro.
I don't want them to.
And I've been to Seattle a few times this year.
I would definitely rock a
all they talk
Sonics
in Seattle is all the renovations they made arena and how they about to get another team. It's
they need to.
Yeah. So, well, guys, I think that wraps up this show. I think we had some really great conversations. I mean, October is like the best sports month of the year, man. You got your baseball, you got fucking college football, NFL, basketball. You got so much shit on TV, man. I'm not a hockey guy, but you know, some folks get hyped about the hockey, but
some people like that shit.
Quick question: what's going on with LSU?
We mid, bro. I'm gonna just say it.
I think it's your coach. It's your coach. It's your coach. It's the coach.
Look, I mean, and this is a moment I wish Jimmy was here because Jimmy has been very upset with how they've played. And that Florida State loss told me everything I needed to know about this team this year. And that's just
Florida State is good. Like, I feel like that's okay to lose that game. But what ain't okay to lose.
Debo, I agree with you. And they have played well ever since. But LSU needed that game. They needed that game to start the year off right, to right the wrong from last year. Like, they needed that game. I mean, hell, we just lost to Ole Miss.
That's the problem. That's the game. Like, you can lose to Florida State because they're a top 5 team.
Yeah, but
top 3 team.
That let me know we weren't. I mean, hell, we might beat Bama and be right back in it. Ole Miss might lose.
Because in a year, it's going to be 12-team playoff. So, like, if you make the top 12, you good. I just feel like this year, the Ole Miss loss is a bad loss.
Oh, it's
a bad loss.
Yeah,
it's a bad loss.
Yeah,
Ole Miss is a bad loss. You're 3-2, and that's bad.
The SEC, it's what's Tennessee's record right now?
4-1.
So it's y'all and Georgia, basically.
No, because we're behind. It's funny. The East is worse. Georgia's top, and then Kentucky is undefeated. So is fucking Missouri. Both of them are in the East. Now Missouri ain't played nobody.
Yeah,
but
Missouri about to get. Yeah, they about to.
They got an SEC win, and we're 1-1. We lost to Florida, and we beat fucking South Carolina's ass last week. But like Georgia's undefeated, they're 2-0 in the SEC East, and then so is Kentucky. Kentucky beat Vanderbilt, and they beat South Carolina. So like, it's tough on the East. The West is kind of a mess.
Well, the West is a mess. Bama's definitely sus. A&M's always what they are. So I think honestly LSU still has a chance, right? But to me, like, you know, like if LSU wins the SEC championship, they're not going to the playoff. They're not going to.
They would. That's an automatic bid.
I disagree because I feel like if Georgia goes in undefeated in a 2-loss LSU, I mean, hell, the Pac-12 is a damn bloodbath right now.
It's going to be a bloodbath. But like the problem is the Big Ten. Big Ten going to come out with like a 1-loss team.
That's
right?
what I'm telling you. They're not going to let a 2-loss
and an undefeated team.
They're not going to let a 2-loss
have to.
LSU
Like,
team get in.
If LSU wins the SEC, if they win the SEC, if y'all went out and y'all beat Georgia, say y'all give Georgia its first loss of the year, they're absolutely going to put you guys in. They're going to put Georgia in. They're going to put whatever 2 undefeated teams in the other 2 undefeated teams in. Like that's how they're shape.
Michigan looks really good.
They won't win out. They're going to lose to Utah, but okay.
No, they won't. USC's quarterback's out for the year. Cam Rising blew out.
Shit! Well, then they might got a chance. This week.
So apparently that knee injury that like he was like nursing back from, he blew his knee out.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, USC undefeated, right? Like hypothetically. Michigan.
Colorado could beat Utah now. Ooh.
Michigan looks great. Let's just say they're undefeated, right? They come
right.
out. Then you got the ACC. So you got Florida State undefeated. North Carolina's undefeated, right?
I forgot about the ACC.
So that's
North Carolina's undefeated. North Carolina is lost. I think they lost last week. I think they got 1 loss.
Let's look real quick.
I think they lost last week.
Let's see. ACC standings.
I forgot about Florida State.
They're 4-0.
Oh, well then there you go. But one of them is going to lose. One of them is going to lose in the ACC championship.
For sure.
Like, say Florida State wins. Florida State makes it. And say whoever comes out of the Big Ten, say it's Michigan, they make it. That's 2 undefeated teams, right?
Yeah.
The SEC winner would definitely get a at-large bid. I could see them if LSU wins out. Because here's the thing. Y'all have to beat Alabama. If you beat Alabama and Georgia in the same year, that's huge. I agree,
but I'm like I told you, my concern is that Georgia comes in undefeated, and then you have 3 other Power 5 conference winners that are undefeated as well. So we'll see what happens, but we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. So appreciate you guys tuning in to On the Go. We're definitely gonna get back to making some more content and talking sports and all that good stuff. So appreciate M16 from the radio show jumping in, hanging out with us, and then Big Debo. We know you're on My Black Friend, but you're part of the radio show too, man. So Big Debo from the radio show joining with us as well. So
I mean,
Tyler had to jump.
I'm like a independent like contractor, right? I'm like I'm a reporter for this news station, but I also be on ESPN a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of writing for the Washington Post, like on
right. I'm doing a bunch of shit. I'm just a nigga that's getting money at all places.
That's a fair assessment. So we'll leave it there. So appreciate you guys tuning in. And how does it Jimmy say that, or how you say it? 16.
I don't know. I got a bunch of catchphrases. Oh yeah,
like and subscribe.
Get us another like and subscribe. So like and subscribe.
There you go. There you have it. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
We miss you, Jimmy. Because them pants is trash, boy. I be laughing about that shit every day, nigga.